your time and do your tricks. All I do is sing along. Yeah, I need you around for brighter light and firmer ground. When you believe in me, love is gonna set me free.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode, which is September. We are almost out. This will be our last one for September. Woo! Do you
Is it
remember?
really October?
It's October already.
Surprise! It's October.
So, look at audience. Hi, I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond, and here is with my co-host who has now, well, we know from last season, she is now the Mrs. now.
I'm a Mrs. It's good to see all of you. I'm Samara M, but I could be known as Samara M Church now. So it's great to see all of you again.
So we're coming on tonight because we haven't been, and we might go over the time. You know how we do when good girlfriends get together.
It'll feel effortless. It'll just be like, wait, what is this time? It's like, oh, it's September. No, it's October. That's how it'll be for us.
So we're just gonna shoot the breeze tonight. Tonight is just gonna be a shoot the breeze, but we're gonna be talking about resilience because we got these quarters that we always say that we want to start and end the year with a bang. So as you know, a lot of people look at me like, Michelle, you just do so much. There has so much going on, but there is so much behind all of this and why things, because I follow the alignment. I follow the alignment of directions that I give because I know the work that I do is someone's attached to that. So tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of resilience, what she's got coming on, and I am so excited for her, and I'm glad to going to be a part of that as well. So I'm looking forward to new things. But hey, Samara, go ahead and shoot the breeze. First, audience, I got to tell you, I am a little bit jealous of her but I let her know because it was her honeymoon. I understand.
Are you just jealous because you have this glow?
She just spent 2 weeks in Greece.
It was crazy. It was awesome. Actually part of the journey that I experienced in Greece, and my friend's going to freak out when I tell her that I'm giving her a little bit of a shout out because, with this mode of creativity and just being on this kind of platform, like with podcasting and how people could take like their voices and turn it into a story. I have this amazing woman, and my husband and I, we met her in Greece. We met her, and just from like a coincidental kind situation where she asked to take a photo for us when we were trying to like figure out selfie positions. And she was like, I could take a picture of y'all. And we were like, oh, and being in Greece, because you're in Europe, you don't really notice, or like you only notice when you hear people from the USA. So you were like, oh, you're one of us. And she was like, we really just started conversation from there. But let me tell you something, it's really amazing the people that you meet in any circumstance. And the people that we met alongside in Greece are really some of the most incredible people. This woman being in particular, she has her own story. She does her own podcast. It's a whole series that I could put in the link, for you to share later on. She's going to freak when I tell her when she sees this and she hears me really giving her the shout out. The reason why I am, though, is because when you're in a situation, it really helps, I think, for me, like, especially how we met. We tell that story all the time, I don't know if any of us really anticipated us being so close. And, as grateful as we really are, it also took a lot of us, like each of us, to do like our own kind of build up on our relationships. We could have just like left it as is and it could have been great, but we really took it upon ourselves to do more with it. And, I think that's what's a big thing for us. You're doing these things. You could easily, like all your people are saying that, like, oh my God, you're doing so much. When are you going to just like let it be? Like, where's all this coming from? And, one of the things that I noticed is that you, like you said, you allow yourself to be open. And that's why all these, opportunities and inspirations come to you. And I couldn't be more proud of you actually, because
Oh,
you really have the platform in so many ways and with so much respect that you could do the things that you're doing. And we could be, really cheering you on. And like, I'm always excited to hear about the next big thing that you do for yourself, because I get to be that person to really like help validate all of the awesome things you get to do. So I'm
oh, she's getting ready to make me.
here.
I feel the water coming on, guys.
No, no,
Water
it's
coming
true.
on. I'm just so full of, just like I said, and you said it. The possibilities and the realms is you got to have a loving heart, and that's what this is, inspirational. So if anybody listen at this tonight, that's what you're going to feel out of this by inspiration when we talk about resilience and when we talk about thinking outside the box. And a lot of things that I do, I think outside the box, but there is a reason why, because I know there's something attached to that purpose. And a lot of people, I know one time I went to Martha's Vineyard, place I always said I wanted to go.
Mhm.
And a couple of ladies who were with me, we were at a McDonald's. And the lady was like, well, where are you going? You know me, I'm like flying off the rest. She said, the other lady was, you know, she could be following you, but I don't have that in me, because I know that I'm already protected, and I know we living in a dangerous world, and we know a lot of things, can happen, but I always don't try to look at that. I try to look on just me. And that's like I say, through a mutual, how we met. I'm on a thing with another person about art, where she had you a part of it, and this is how we shebang to bang to bang, and we spent the weekend together in New York and where you were at the time, and it just
Yeah.
blossomed. My friendship has blossomed, and
I
that's
think there's so much that really grew out of that. I think that we really allowed there to be an opportunity to see what more could happen with that. There's some vulnerability in each
mhm.
person when they're like, okay, like I'm open to seeing this friendship or like, thing that we have going for us, this mutual connection, I will say, because sometimes people don't even realize they could just be like, oh my God, did we just become best friends? And you're like, girl, we've been best friends. Like I knew it.
Right.
And it's just, there's something really beautiful about that. It's a rare feeling. And I
It
think
is.
that's why,
It is.
and
And
people dream about it. They do. Do you ever notice that people really dream up or they like fantasize about like that kind of either friendship or relationship, romantic partnership? Like they really dream of this possibility that when they meet the right person for them in that moment, it's because there's something so pure and vulnerable, and like it just feels like it came out of nowhere. They're thinking like, oh, I was here, you were here, you were there for the shaken fries, and you didn't know that in Martha's Vineyard there could be something more to the story.
yeah,
And
it was very, and it's just through the mutual of our relationship. It's not just not it's for me, it's therapeutic. Not just saying that we both work in that capacity, but it's also therapeutic for me. Um, Basically because I know that I can call you if I had a difficult problem,
I would be insulted if you did it, and I'd be like, why did I not get this call? Like,
that goes back because a couple months back, I had something go on, and you was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" But you try to, again. That's where we talk about that resilience. Because again, we all done had a couple of things that then knocked us off of our feet, and you just think, would anybody really care? But would anybody really care to hear it? Or suck it up, buttercup, put your big, how people say, put your big girl panties on and move along. But sometimes I need somebody to help to hold the lining in the panties.
it's so oh my God, it's so true. Like you just need me to be the suspenders for your big girl pants. Like you need me to like hold you over and be like, we got this. But you touched upon something that I think I've been hearing as a theme, which is, when I would work in some of the groups and I would teach this idea of resiliency, when people really have it in their heads that they have to do something on their own, it doesn't go to show that like whatever action they're doing on their own and may necessarily have to involve someone else, or it might have to involve like an aspect of a person. Like if you had to go to the store by yourself, you're going to have to go up to a cashier. You're going to have to figure out where the tomatoes are. You're going to have to figure out like where something is. That could involve somewhere else, in that bigger picture of things. And, it doesn't hurt to show that you could have someone by your side every minute of that, but they let you take the reins. They let you really take ownership and accountability of the actions that you're doing. And I think in many respects, that's why some people, I would say, could have that stubbornness being that block, because they're almost in some ways too, like, I don't want to say full of themselves, but they hold themselves to that kind of accountability that just, it
Right.
doesn't make sense. I don't think it makes sense. I think it makes it so much easier for you to do the things that you have to do if you have the right people in front of you, just really, in some cases cheering you on, in some cases showing you, oh, it's in that aisle. Okay, I know where the
Right.
tomatoes are now. Like, it gives you a lot of that clarity. And yeah.
You said you just said something, because it gave me like the analogy, clean up on aisle 5. I'm coming with the support so this can look fresh and new to you. And so that's how I look at, relationships when I'm building out here, when I'm out here networking. Because a lot of people say, you got a networking game, girl. Sometimes
It's true.
Sometimes I'll be at like a couple weeks, last month, my cousin's wedding. I'm networking about my job at the wedding. I'm like on it. And then here it is. I had the person come in and present to our office. You always got to be ready, because you never know. Because I didn't just do the job because I want the job as a job, but I do the job because I love the job, and I had the passion to seeing people heal from these addictions, helping people heal from their mental health. And just because, again, that's some of my resilience of my background. I had no idea that these things were in my mother until she got sick. That she had some problem with bipolar, and then I have other family members and stuff like that. So that's why I try to be a help in that
I
area.
think it's one of those things that we would have really wanted in the moment for ourselves. Like when we were going through all these things, we oddly had to do them by ourselves.
Right.
But there was some part of us, I think it's safe to say, to be like, wow, I really wish someone was right next to me, so I felt like I wasn't so alone. Or like, wow, I really wish I knew how to pick someone's brain about this, because I feel like I don't know what to do at this point with this person, or with myself, or like with whoever is involved with their mental health or with their circumstances. And it really becomes, in many cases, like not even just overwhelming. It just makes us be put down in a place that it feels really uncomfortable. Like, I don't think anyone enjoys a challenge where it feels like they can't actually do it. I think at some point, when a challenge becomes so debilitating, it's not until they realize, okay, I could really get through this, I'm going to actually do this, where it feels not like a challenge. It feels like something that they overcame. And that's really the difference. And it really is. And, I don't think anyone should have to go through things alone necessarily, even when someone's like, let's say 3,000 miles away, or if someone maybe is not in this earth anymore. There's always going to be this aspect that like we're never truly alone. And I think that's also one of the purest forms of faith, in my opinion, knowing that in some capacity or in many aspects, we're like not alone. And it feels like it. In most circumstances, they'd be like, okay, I don't know what you just had in your cup, Samara, but what are you talking about? And it's just like, no, we're really not alone. And it may feel like it in some situations. It's only because the people that are always going to be around us are letting us have full control in what we're able to do. And I think there's really like a level of like it really humbles a person. And, the people that I think I've met over time have truly humbled me. Not to say that I had like a huge ego. I don't even think I had an ego. I was just like, that's cool that people have egos. I don't really know how I relate to that, because there are so many moments where I felt so insecure. But oddly enough, the people that I would meet along the way, and I would see them have so much reassurance and that confidence in themselves, made me feel like, whatever circumstance they got to get through to be there, I can do that too. And so it's almost like this weird understanding that, people who are doing really well are people who in many ways have like the best facade where they like look like they have everything on top of the world, but they don't really take in the knowledge that they provide to others. I think it really affects a person. I think it
Mhm.
could, like, anything that you may be feeling, you don't realize, but that your feeling is affecting someone else regardless. But you just want to know that because it's like either out of sight, out of mind, or it's like you have to see it to believe it. And like I've been really thinking about that thought, like see it to believe it. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So you know what? We're gonna come right back to that because everyone before this came on, we were having a little conversation. And one of the things that she just said, the effect of feeling of energies and, people feelings and different things like that. So I want to share when she talked about something that happened with me over this couple of days. So we're going to take a quick break. And also with this next video that's going to be coming up, we here at Upfront Mind Body, so we do have sponsorship availabilities, as you see. One of the visions, and we're both going to talk about what our resilience has built us up, because there's two huge people here that are working on some things to help others. So that's all I'm just going to say about that. But
But
we're
before
going
the
to
break,
we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about that.
okay, gotcha.
Welcome back to the episode of Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond, and I am here. She's not a stranger here. She's actually part of the co-host here. I'm just letting her take a break because I need her to enjoy her ride of being a new bride and all.
I think
But
I'm ready to take the wheel. I can help you drive. But, I'm ready. I'll tell you why. Because, one of the things that we touched upon before the break was this idea of sponsorship. And, something that I'm going to put on here to really help Michelle, like, really key in some of the things that I guess we would like to offer as an opportunity is the pure fact that if you feel like you relate to us, if you feel like you really, like, a lot of the things that we're talking about resonate with you and you would be open and interested in learning about this kind of collaboration, especially with Michelle, she's really a force to be reckoned with. She's, just someone who really could do so much with what she's given. And even with things that feel like there's not much to work with, because she's such a creative force, she's someone who really takes on accountability and the resourcefulness at its finest. She'll really make so much of what she has work for her. And that alone is why I think she's been the guru of inspiration for so long, because she's really done amazing things with not just herself and with the things she's given, but with the people, not even that give it to her, but are around her. And if you really want to be an opportunity, if you want a chance to really pick Michelle's brain and just hear more about it, please do so at upfrontmbs@gmail.com. Send her an email. Please don't hesitate. She's really someone that you would be so lucky. And I'm going to say it like that. You really would be such a lucky person with this awesome opportunity. And she would be not only so grateful, but I think that both parties would really find so much meaning behind what there could be done between you and Michelle. So really, please don't hesitate. If you think that you resonate with the things I have to say, especially with the things that I'm saying about this amazing person who I've loved since the moment I worked with her, Michelle, please,
she's gonna
seriously.
make the water run again, guys. This is like,
But I'm serious. I'm serious. And, there's something really authentic about working with you. And, I think the first time you even like brought up the idea of me coming onto your podcast, I was trying to be all cool. I'm like, yeah, I could do it. I would be fine. Okay. Yeah. What's in it? What's in it for me? Like I really was so, if I could really emphasize how insanely excited I was like, OMFG. Like it was really one of the coolest things I did with you. It really was. Even just before meeting you, like I loved the opportunity that you saw in the way I spoke and the way that I was able to just, shoot the breeze.
Shoot the breeze. And not only that, audience, we're going to talk about some stuff that we're working on, some projects working on. But one thing that she just said to key back into, I actually had her, because you guys know that I do these women retreats. I'm telling you, if you haven't tapped into the Warm Your Heart, Warm Your Soul, and Warm Your Mind retreat, you really want to tap into that. I'm going to put a plug in because March 2024, 22nd through the 24th, we are going to be right back at the Wade's Point Inn again. And we got some, this what I want to say. I done put the big girl panties on and knowing that now Michelle can't do it all by herself. So now we're working with a team. Actually, the team met last week. We met last week. We're working with a team on to make this more, to get people to get what they really need. Not to say that they didn't come last year, because it was breakthroughs, a whole lot. It's you want to experience this. And I'm not there. Let me tell you this. There's going to be a whole shift again this year, because things that have been working on me spiritually is an encounter that I had yesterday was phenomenal. When we talk about purpose and what she just said about the podcast and how we met. And one of the things is, I do take a lot. People ask me, do you take on a lot? It's not that I don't take on a lot. It's because I'm given an assignment. I may say that again. And I know a lot of people like, you be like everywhere. But it's because I know how important it is, that because I have people attached to me, right? These folks are attached to me when these little, like even when these retreats, I'm taking it serious. I'm stepping it up. It's no longer, I can't even look at it keeping the price at the same levels anymore. So it is it is what it is. And I try to work it out with a payment plan, but oh well, the last minute, I repeat, I'm just gonna say it's not about the money with me, because if it wasn't about the money, I wouldn't have to put out of pocket last year. So that I had to put out of pocket last year.
It just sounds like you have like a lot more in demand that you want to really step up for.
Right.
And that happens. And I don't even think you knew the magnitude of how big like your retreats would be for you. And especially if, as you're listening in and you're just hearing not only us like, shoot the breeze, you're hearing us really speak a lot of truth on things that have really led the way for us.
Right.
I'm not going to like break out into song and be like Pocahontas and like find the colors of the wind. But what I will say is like, I see a lot of responses. I'm a big believer in when we put something out in the universe, whether we intend for there to be an answer of some sort, we could be thinking something in our heads, but the moment that we actually put it out there, we say something out loud, the universe will respond in some way. I'm a big believer in that. I believe that in its fullest, because there have been so many times where I didn't think anything of it again. I would put something out there, like for like even something like, wow, I could really use a break right now. And then the universe will respond, oh, okay, is that
okay? That happened last week, because I'm like, I got all of this stuff to do. And trust me, I was down for like 5 days. But on the 5th day, which was yesterday, I got together. And it was because I needed that rest. And when you said about you put things out in the universe, and let me make this disclaimer. Yes, I'm still practicing my faith of Christianity, but I also and I'm very culturally competent, and I understand that a lot of other folks, because my friend here, she just came from out of Yom compared this today. So that goes to tell you, I have a very relevancy of people from all different walks of faith. Hey, I have Muslim friends. I have all different. We're one international underbelly. That's what I just gonna say. Hey, I get along with everybody, so it is what it is. That's just what's inside me. So anyway,
What's really, but you're onto something. You're onto something. You know, the thing that you're onto.
Something. I'm onto something. And then when we look at the retreat, when I first started this retreat, it was women who, you know, weren't. Some faiths believe that women shouldn't be behind the pulpit or whatever else. But it was me who pulled those ladies, say, look, hey, you come out and just speak. Just give out what you want. I'm going to let you represent. You'd have been a theological school. We know you'd have been there. So we're going to depict a woman from the Bible, and I want you to say, bring out some words on it. That's something to encourage the women. It was one woman who had never had spoke before at all in front of an audience, because she's not allowed. She's not allowed. Her faith, sorry about that, but her faith doesn't allow her to
speak out in situations.
Speak out in church. Women aren't allowed to preach in the pulpit, whatever. But this one word that she spoke, and we're still friends today. She's a Church of the Brother. I actually go there and speak sometimes. So this one word she brought about, she said, you know, they always talk about women ain't supposed to speak in the Bible. She said, but didn't Mary carry the word? I was like, drop the mic. And at the time, I was going to this church as well. And at the time, it just goes to tell you about how your resilience is. We on that again. It talks about how your resilience. It just made me think, and it was an eye opener.
I just think that, like, she really tapped into something, and she finally had a podium to speak it out to. I don't think she ever. Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't sound like she's really had a place or an opportunity to, like, ask another person that. She was like, wait a second.
She said, but didn't Mary carry the word? I said, well, they talk, he's El Shaddai, he's everywhere, he's Prince of Peace, wonderful counselor, and it does say he's the word. So okay, so we dropped the mic, but guess what? Now later, she's the pastor of the church.
Wow.
So again, when you said about the universe, when you speak things out in the universe, that's what happened. So she, you know, just for that incident, and it's always some type of way where, and that's something else. Sometimes it get not scary. I don't want to use the word scary because I'm not scared of
hesitant.
Yeah, it's not that he's, you know, he gives me the gift, like you say, guru inspiration. I have, and this is not to be no ego or whatever else, but it's just I'm thankful of the gift that he has placed within me. That's why on yesterday, this workshop with the affirmations was so critical to me, because when I think about it, it also made me think. The person was like, you just quiet all the way quiet. I say, I'm very quiet because I'm really, really getting into this. We had to play this game about affirmations, and we had to make up something that we wanted to work on.
Let's do that with each other. Let's see what that could do with each other.
Yeah. So
try it on me. No, I'm really, because we were talking about it before. I want you to try it on me. I'm really open to this.
So, all right, for instance, there is something that you want to focus on. There is, now it's talking about affirmation, because, you know, when people say, oh, affirmation, I do my affirmation, but do you really get the affirmation? That's the question. Do you really get it? So, you know, it was a game. You had to write it down.
Okay.
And you had to take this affirmation, but you had to talk to yourself as being someone, you was 100 years old and you're being celebrated.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'm basically reminiscing about everything I've achieved from like 100 years ago. Okay, let's do it.
All
I'm
right.
convinced. So part of this affirmation, I think that one of the things that has held me back from this affirmation is like you, I'm a little hesitant sometimes of tapping into where I could be my best self. I sometimes conform and take on things just because I feel like in that moment I'm supposed to, but I don't really have to. It's because I feel like I want to do something in this moment for either myself or for my family, whatever it may be. And what it really does sometimes is even when that thing doesn't work out, it reaffirms what I'm really supposed to be doing. I don't know if
So,
any you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there have been circumstances where we've either worked in like not the best environments or whether we've interacted with not the best people, whether we've been stuck somewhere and there's more we can do with like this, talent that we have. And um there was a lot of that in the summer for me. Like, even before my honeymoon, there was, like, a lot of that for me, and so I think my affirmation is, like, trusting what I know. Like, knowing exactly what I know, but actually trusting it, and, like, you
so how
yeah.
you will refrain that?
Oh,
So basically, and you can this is how you can refrain that. Everywhere that I touch, starting today, it shall be. I trust what is already within me.
okay. I'm just gonna take it. I'm like, "Okay." Like, no, it's true because I have what's weird? Like whenever you would get a compliment from like a parent or someone you would hear the same thing over with and you would be like, "Okay, you just have to say that because you're my mom," or like, "You just have to say that cuz you love me." And it's like, "Do you hear yourself right now?" Like, of course you're going to share those things because you know it's true and maybe they are your mom or like because they do love you and like that's why they're sharing it and there's no reason to disregard those compliments from people that you are most familiar with. And then you would find yourself like you would have someone, I don't know, like a stranger say like something, "Oh, you look nice today." You're like, "Oh my God, I
Mhm,
do look nice today." It's like, yeah, I just told you that like 2 minutes ago when I was driving you to like where we were going. And
mhm.
I think that I just have to like really allow the validation be from the right people,
Yeah.
meaning like
Here's
you.
another way we can do that. Only the right intentions of the right people to put me at the right place at the right time with the right things will attract to me.
I dig it. I think, it really comes with actually also having faith in that it's gonna happen regardless of how it's supposed to happen.
Right.
I've really become a big believer in that. I've really seen so much just happen. Even you know what? Let me challenge this. Like when something happens that normally would make you feel upset, but that when it happens, you're actually feeling like a lot better about it, but you maybe didn't appreciate the way it went down. So like for someone, let's say, who was working somewhere and they maybe their management wasn't great to them and they they get let go or they walk out, like however it happens, and there have been so many situations where that would make someone really upset, but then they think back and they're like, "Oh, wait, now I have more opportunities to actually work at a place that I could do so much better by." Or in some circumstances, they could actually maybe start their own thing and they have like the knowledge of knowing how they would do better by it. And I- I'm just really grateful that we can have these kind of like breezy
Conversation.
conversations.
Those good conversations. See, we intact. We along. Okay. So what okay, audience. So what happened was, yeah, what happened with me yesterday was um a person yesterday who's very gifted, and I had to come up with my own story about
Mhm.
this me being 100 years old. I'm 100 years old, and I'm at this celebration, but it's all based upon my life and about this affirmation. I'm not. I might share that next week about it. Matter of fact, I might go that route. See how things happen. I might go that route about starting off, ending the show with an affirmation. Well, I do end it with an affirmation, but maybe that's what we're gonna have some people write in. In a couple weeks, maybe there'll be one. Somebody get the email. You got the email right there.
It's right down here. It's right over
There's
here.
the email right there. Send me the affirmation. So let's make October. Because again, talk about, there's a release with the Yom Kippur, right? Where there's a year of release, right?
So
So
with Yom Kippur, well, it's Yom
Yom
Kippur. Some
Kippur.
people say Yom Kippur. It really, what's really meant to be during the moments where you don't eat or drink for the full 24 hours is that you're really supposed to find this moment of accountability while you're atoning for the things that had transpired throughout the year. And then there's actually a period between Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, and then Yom Kippur, where we go through that whole process. A lot of people really find opportunities to reach out to, most of the time, those that they did wrong by. And they try to invite in some way, like an understanding, like, hey, I did really wrong by you. I'm really sorry, and I hope you can forgive me. And, some people do in their own finesse, and others maybe don't do it at all, but they think about it because they don't have the courage, or they think they're going to be rejected by this request for forgiveness. But I bring it up, and I think it's important that you brought it up too, because there is something to having like a full 24 hours, like you probably did at this retreat in some way. You had a full 24 hours of not being distracted by the inconveniences of the outside, and you really just enclose yourself with your purest intentions. So whether your purest intention is like getting through the day and getting through the fast, or your purest intention involves like thinking how you're going to reach out to the person who maybe you did wrong by 10 years ago, and you're like, hey, I saw that everything's going well for you, but like I just wanted to know that I was thinking of you, and I hope you can forgive me someday. And it really can take a person back. You know what I mean? Like it can really take a person back when they're receiving that. It's so humbling if they do it the right way. If they're humbled by it, they're really taking it on the best way possible. If they're like, oh yeah, why didn't she reach out like 10 years ago? Or like, why am I just getting this now? Is my email slow? Like, you're just, there's so many ways that you can really take ownership of that, where you're like, wow, this person is really going to a place that they probably would never have been in a few days ago. I don't think you would have been in that phase of yours a few days ago, Michelle. I think there would have been too many distractions for you. And
you're right on what I was saying. And I'm telling you, it's like, I'm not scared about it, but I'm just thinking about the affirmation that I had for myself as this 100-year-old woman. So one of the, I'm all about that self-love and self-empowerment. I'm all about that. And it's not that I'm thinking I'm God or whatever else, but what you just said about that sorriness. So one of the things that we had to do in this thing yesterday was also for ourselves, or anything that we have intentionally think that's wrong, even if we sat in the chair wrong, or maybe somebody sat in the chair wrong and they left their bad energy there. So one of the things that they were saying, first it goes out to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you.
so you had to do a sentence that says,
It was the whole thing.
okay.
I'm sorry, please forgive me, I'm grateful, thank you.
Do you think you would have responded to that if it wasn't for yesterday? Do you think you would have responded as well as you did to that?
Because again, it was a serene place. It was, unfocused. I was focused,
So
more.
there was no like distractions to make you be like, what
No,
am I sorry for? Who do I
no.
say that I
And this
love?
could be
Yeah.
for yourself. I mean, this could have been for yourself too. It was like, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful and thank you. That's what it was. There it is. It was intentional. It was intentional. It was very intentional.
I like it. I think
Yeah.
that could be
Look,
that could be
you're
part
right.
of a
You're in
lot of
a
things.
somber mood now. Like it's making you it so yeah, you in a somber mood, with it. It just was a lot to think in a process. But like today, I'm feeling like I'm not even in this world today. It's like I'm here, but I'm not here
I think
spiritually.
you're in a much better place, like
Yes,
intentionally with
yes,
with your mind.
intentionally.
Like your headspace is much better than
It's
it was.
very, 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 yeah. So, one of the things that it had, which, and I'm going to say, let me put it out here. So, we're both working on some new things here. One of the things I have here is this foot detox. Hopefully, it'll work right.
There you go.
There it goes. So, and eventually, I have the affirmation on there. So, we know that your feet is a lot where you take in a lot of impurities, but you also can release those out. So a couple months ago, as I said, it was given to me in a dream. And I don't think that these dreams are given for me for no reason. So I
You're
asked,
not the only one that really relies on their dreams. I know a lot of people, like
yeah,
ones I
it was given to me in a dream to go back because I used to do this when I first opened up with holistic health.
remember.
I used to do it. And he told me to go back, but he gave me more stuff to do with it. So I'm putting this on my affirmation on these now. So whoever gets it, whoever get one, tonight I'm gonna give away a 2-ounce tonight. So one lucky winner tonight will get this, but this is my affirmation, but it can go for anyone. I am completely focused and aligned within all my well-being, mind, body, and soul. And my confidence is definite. So one lucky winner will win this tonight. And it'll be the first person who respond to a question that I'm gonna ask at the end of the show.
Okay.
So
But wait, can you make them email it? Whoever sends the first email
there you go. Make it tough for them. That's right. Whoever
whoever
sends
actually writes an email and responds to this question that Michelle wants you to think about
yep.
will definitely get the confirmation that they're
Yeah,
going to
and
get
this
the
is
foot
look.
scrub.
Let me tell you this yesterday when I gave one away to someone yesterday, it changed their whole vibe. So I done put a lot of love into this, and this is where I'm going more holistically with my sound healing. And yes, let me put that disclaimer again. I am still a Christian. I just got to put it out there. There is nothing wicked. This is natural sound. I'm putting it out there. I'm sorry. It is what it
No,
is.
don't be sorry. Like,
Yeah, you're right. It's
don't be
therapeutic.
sorry.
It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic and frequencies. They've been around for years. It's just that there's different crystal. Crystal is a element that is used to make sound. But that's what I'm saying. People, I want to do more education on this type of work.
It's
I'm
really
actually working
amazing
with a
how
group.
resource again, like what I said in the beginning, you're such a not only
Yeah,
are you a creative force, but
yeah,
you're someone who really wants to use and find purpose, be
yes,
resourceful for all the things in your life, in your atmosphere, in the space on this earth that, there is a purpose for you to do something with those things. It's not for everyone, and just
right.
because it may not be for that person doesn't mean it can't be for the people that you naturally connect with.
And this is the newest. Well, I have another thing to talk about because we're going to talk about what we're working on. these are tools to help us in our mind. This here is a, as it says, about me, just the inspiration is the motto. That's what you're going to go through when you get that. But in order to get mindset change, it takes at least 90 days if you want to change another behavior. So this is something that you can use as well to be coming up. But then the biggest thing is,
drum roll, please. Sound
blah, 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 blah. The biggest thing is that on October the 12th, we are back, the Polished, Passionate, and Poised Forum, which we're having a mental health forum where I have a good friend of mine coming in from Toronto, Canada, Nigel Birch. He's an author. He is a spoken word poet. He is coming in to do a little monologue, but it's all based around mental health on October the 12th, 7:30, 31 Joe White Street is where it's going to be held. We're going to have giveaways. The first 40 people. See, I'm all about giving. And I had some sponsors that's going to be given. We're going to have information. It's nothing wrong with saying you have mental health problems, because I want to make sure that's pushed out there too as well. We need to get the help we need if we need it. And
I think really what you're doing for people is you're reassuring them that the help that they can get is probably not in the form that they're used to, and
right.
that this could
I'm bringing it to the community. I'm bringing it to the community. It's a free event. I mean, if you want to drop, there is an Eventbrite, and I will post that. I'll constantly be posting that within the next week or so as well. But it's a free event, open to the public. And today I had a meeting with one of the corporate sponsors that we're going to be offering CEUs to clinicians if clinicians want to go, because basically this is basically around people of color addressing the mental health, their traumas, and different things. So all of the ladies that's in the book with me, because I was a visionary behind this, all of us have had dealt some trauma, but we dealt with it in the past in one portion, but now we came back revised after post-COVID. A lot of us have blossomed, businesses have birthed, triumphed. We went through some things during this time, but it also replenished us to come back with a full force straw. So we also want to address the mental health. So I am excited about the little documentary that's going to be with it. So yes, these are some of the things that I'm going out this year with a bang and going to be better for next year. I'm affirming that.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see how all this is going to come. Not only it's starting off into fruition, but it's really you're making the moves to enforcing it happening.
And
I'm
not
really
only
so
you,
proud of you.
not only me, but Miss Lady here, she told me something a couple months ago. So let's introduce to the crowd, to the folks, what's going to be happening with Miss Samara Church here.
Oh my gosh. I'm feeling already the hesitancy in talking about this, but coming up the road is something that I felt like I probably needed to do sooner, but that it's going to be happening more in these circumstances. I will be opening up my own business. I'm going to be introducing myself more as like a life coach mentor, but also still be an art therapist. I'm really bringing the scope of art therapy, but in a different form, in the sense that it's not going to be all clinical. Oh, virtual club. Thank you. I am hearing the applause. Thank you. But I'm really excited to introduce this concept of having a therapeutic space. I'm really excited to be offering either virtual or in-person groups. This opportunity for me having my own business is going to be allowing me to bring a wider audience and really educate them on what art therapy can be, how you could be involved with an art therapist and do a lot with art therapy, and also have someone who could really provide that motivational support, myself, and really someone who I like to think that I get it. I like to think that I could see things not only for what they are, but then I could see ahead for things and what they can be. And, I hope that if you were interested, especially as I get the business actually running, have my LLC for it. I have a name for it and everything. I just don't know if I could share it just yet. But that's something, it's not yet, not yet. I'm really excited about this endeavor. I'm really like nervous as hell about it, but I'm also really excited that this is something that I'm really going to be focusing on. Just like you were saying, my focus is a lot more clear in this kind of direction of what I want to do. I just want to, help people find a good space, like a space that's naturally therapeutic without having to call it therapy. It in its own right, it can be like their own form of therapy. But, I think like we were saying, we've been in this field doing all types of things as clinicians for a long time. And it's not for everyone necessarily, but there are ways that people could find their own reassurance and help that they need. What you're doing also, Michelle, is giving people that reassurance of finding like a healthier scope of things for themselves, going to hear what others have to say about their well-being.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's like the nicest thing, knowing that there's
Knowing
someone
it.
else. Yeah, really just hearing it for
Having that
yourself.
somebody to hear it. And that's the part when I started out first. I started out coaching as well. I started that like 10 years ago. And I can remember when I first started out with the life coaching thing, they were saying, this is gonna be the boom, this is gonna year. Now I see it. Everybody's a coach. They got,
It's true,
everybody,
it's true, but
everybody's a coach. But
that's fine.
you can have many coaches, but what might not work with one coach, because this is one thing about this coach. This coach ain't gonna, if we're not clicking, I'm not gonna take your money.
Let me just tell you something that, like, if I'm going to be a coach, I'm going to be very specific on what sport I'm
Right,
coaching. I am focusing on, let's say, soccer, and then
right,
you might be, I don't know, basketball or like
right,
something
right,
else, or you could be baseball, and I'll be like, more power to you. You're
right,
doing so well with baseball and
right,
basketball, and I'll focus on the things that I know.
right.
We could still be coaches. We're still in the realm of supporting the kind of things that we're coaching. And one, I think that's really what drove me to want to do this. And as scared as it might be in some moments, I'm just really excited that I could really pursue this and bring it out to people. So I think, like, really to enforce this more, I'll be opening up my own business. I'll be really catering to people who either individually want that one-on-one motivational support, whether it's, not really knowing what to do in a relationship they've committed to, whether they want to actually maintain their sobriety and they want someone to have like to give them the resources of finding other sober support networks. It could be someone who doesn't know what to do with their career and they feel all types of ways about it and they don't really know what to do. So that could be for individually, and then for groups, I always offer virtual, and then I'll be offering in person too. It's really just doing something different with what so accustomed to thinking what could be a therapeutic space. And a therapeutic space is not always a therapy session in a room. It's not always in a hospital. It's not always in a clinic. It's not always in these places that have maybe in the past bogged us down. And I'm just really excited to allow a group of people or you individually to find something that makes sense to you and doing it in a way that the universe is responding to you. So I'm really excited. I'm also like us being so close. We've always been really like one of each other's cheerleaders and seeing how things are going. I think while we have these 4 minutes left, what's something that you would like to end off on, Michelle?
Just being authentic and being you. And if it's something, I just say this to the audience: be your true, authentic self, and whatever you're desiring to do, speak it into existence. Speak it into an existence.
I'm
That's
going
what.
to run with that too. I'm going to encourage everyone that, excuse me, while you were listening to this and, something that resonated with you, We would love to know what something that either myself or Michelle spoke about, what's something that really hit you in this podcast today. Please email us about it. Please let us know what that thing was. And then, just to really end off with the best note ever is whether you think that you're not enough, just know that you're doing plenty for someone else. And you're doing plenty for you in the moment that it's meant to be. So, please keep being yourselves. Please keep being as genuine as your heart hopes to be, and allow us to be part of it. Allow the people around you to see it for what it is, because seeing is the best way of believing.
That's
And
it.
that's it.
That's
And
it.
that's
So audience, so you got it. So again, remember what you have to do. So if you got something from tonight, you have to email us. Email us about this, and one lucky person.
If you can't see it, it's a foot scrub, but it has a lot of meaning to it.
Yeah, it has a lot of meaning to
Foot scrubs with meaning. I like that.
Yeah, so foot scrubs with meaning. Yeah, so to get those impurities and get those toxins running out and to detox you to a newer level of thinking. So yeah. So again, audience, Samara, thank you so much. And we're gonna have to connect for next month. We get back on to get running for next month. Remember,
by then I'll have a name for my business.
So. Yeah, so there we go. So audience, again, I want to thank you so much. I know we talked a lot, but we talked about some good, real conversation stuff that you got to think about.
We definitely hope you have someone next to you to have these conversations with.
Yes,
they're a hell of a blast. Let me tell you, they're so much fun. And we're grateful that if you're listening in, that you really heard us tonight.
That you really heard us, and that something stuck with you, because I'm telling you, I'm in a different level now. So look out. You thought you had to put some rocket boots on now to follow it.
Is this a cue where they're like, I'm all the way up?
See, that's why I love her. I'm all the way up.
All the way up.
I'm all the way up. I just love you. Again, thank you so much for coming on tonight, Samara. And again, audience, I leave out with a mantra every week. And you know what? But our mantra is because, there's so much going on in our world today. But one of the things is just remember, if you don't feel that you are loved, just know that you are loved by here at Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, and by your host and my co-host, because she has a lot of love as well. So again, until next week, have a blessed week. And don't remember, speak those things in the atmosphere that is going to
make sure they have something going for them. We don't put out any spooky things, put out things that you would want to share with someone else. And we can't wait to hear about it.
All right. Until next week, I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond.
And I'm Samara M. Church.
Oh, shucks.